following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds like flags. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and young guns Billy Derrick and Michael Cindric. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on kind of a cloudy, rainy, gloomy Tuesday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee in the month of August. We don't see this happen very often, but it has now. Let's get right to it. Let's first say hello to Coach Watson Brown, who joins us from up on the plateau. Watson, it is apparently Yellow Day on the show.
Different shades of yellow. We got it covered in all directions, George. And I'll have to say, we did not call and ask each other what we're wearing today. So that didn't happen. No,
absolutely not. And then we've got, what do we got over there? Kind of a peach?
Yeah,
Billy?
It's kind of a peach. It looks a little orange. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but yeah, that's what I'm working with today.
Okay. So let's get this show on the road quickly because there is some late-breaking news in Terry McCormick's Daily Titans update. Terry, first of all, how was Fenway?
It was great, and this is from a Red Sox hater, but the place was incredible. And we went to – the only bad thing about it was we went to 2 games and the Yankees lost both of them. So there you go.
I kind of liked that part.
Red
Sox played them unusually tough for a team that in the last few weeks has, ended up in last place in the AL East.
The Yankees are really struggling right now without Stanton, and then they've got several guys who are just not hitting the ball. Josh Donaldson, Aaron Hicks, Jose Trevino's cooled off a little bit. They've got 4 or 5 guys in that lineup that are just not hitting. Aaron Judge is still killing the ball, but why would you pitch to him unless you absolutely had to?
God, it will cost them a fortune to re-sign him. Terry, let's get to the Titans. They apparently have made some cuts here within the last few minutes. Oh, hold on a second. Billy wants to talk.
You cannot forget Terry's sponsor, George. You seem to forget that. But the first sponsor is the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners. They are proven to be trusted with your most personal asset. The Justin Tucker team, call them at 615-906-8458. And Sumner Funeral and Cremation. They are sharing their family with yours in your time of need, now with 2 convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville, and online at sumnerfuneral.com. Sumner Funeral and Cremation, traditional, affordable, and dignified.
Okay, Terry, who has bit the dust today?
Well, the Titans had to get let go of 5 players to get down to the league-mandated limit of 85 by 3 o'clock this afternoon, and they did just that. They have released the most prominent name that people would understand and hear about is wide receiver Josh Malone, the former Station Camp High School and University of Tennessee star. Malone was let go along with running back Jordan Wilkins, defensive tackle Haskell Garrett, offensive lineman Carson Green, and defensive back Deontay Burton. So those are the 5 that were let go.
And none could be huge surprises.
No, not really. I think, you kind of saw Malone falling a little bit behind some of the other guys in recent days of practice, even in the middle of last week before I left to go to Boston. You started to see him started to run more with the 3s rather than the 2s. And so you maybe saw a little bit of the writing on the wall there. And with these last wide receiver spot or 2, they're going to err on the side of special teams. They're going to go with whoever brings the most to the table, covering a punt, being able to be a gunner, those sorts of things. And Josh Malone probably didn't have the experience of some of these other guys that are in the fight for those last roster spots.
Terry,
and then
go ahead.
Well, the other one that, the couple of others that I thought would stick around a little longer, I thought Jordan Wood, they went out and signed, re-signed in the offseason after he was a late season fill-in. He used to be with the Colts. I thought that they kind of liked him, but he's fallen behind Julius Chestnut. And, of course, the draft pick, Hassan Haskins, have moved ahead of him in that race to see who's going to be Derrick Henry's backups. And then Haskell Garrett is a guy that they had some high hopes for, even as an undrafted. They've had some luck with undrafted defensive linemen like Tier Tart and Naquan Jones, but Garrett wasn't able to transition like the other two were.
Terry, real quickly, kind of give me a little of the schedule when Tampa Bay comes in here for the practice sessions.
Okay, practice will begin at 9:25 each day, and we'll go through 11:05. And then after that, there will be media availability for players from both teams. The Titans will be set up in their usual spot. Tomorrow we get to talk to Vrabel, get to talk to Tannehill, and Kevin Byard, I believe it is. And they have not announced the players that will be made available on Thursday. But I think, what they're trying to get done here, they'll use 2 of the 3 fields, obviously, and be able to work the Titans offense against the Bucs defense and vice versa. And I think that this type of work is something that is really more valuable than the preseason game, because you get to put it in a controlled environment. You get to go, I want to see what my offense does when it's 3rd and 8 at their own 40. I want to see if they can execute a play against a good defense. Well, that situation may or may not come up with the people you want to see it with in a preseason game, but in the controlled practice atmosphere, you can set it up exactly the way you want to see it, see who can perform and see who can't.
Okay, perfect. Terry, I'm glad you had a good trip up there. It's a wonderful place to see baseball. Glad to have you back safe and sound. And tell the child, go Braves.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
See you guys.
Okay.
All right.
That's Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. Watson, are you now ready for the award-winning update?
Absolutely.
Billy, let's start with item number 1.
Let's start with item number 1. George, we start in the NFL, and we talked about this in yesterday's show. Zach Wilson is officially out 4 to 6 weeks. He could return in that 3rd, maybe 4th game of the year. Reportedly, the procedure to repair Wilson's meniscus went according to plan, and his ligaments were intact, but the timeline really just depends. So 4 to 6 weeks, but who knows?
So, Watson, it was exactly the way you thought it would be yesterday when you played doctor. Very impressive.
Yeah, and the bone bruise would make me think that it goes closer to 6, to be very honest. And they're not going to rush him back. They're going to make sure that this isn't a lingering injury. He's too important to the franchise, and so. But that puts them at what? Missing maybe 4 games.
Could be
3 to 4 games, which
could be.
I don't think they would go after Garoppolo with that small amount of time.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. Item number 2.
Item number 2, we stay in the NFL. We go to Baltimore. And, George, we were surprised at this before the show. The Ravens have released quarterback Brett Hundley. He was not in attendance during today's practice. He was the 4th string behind Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley, and Anthony Brown. So Baltimore just kind of doing what they had to do with him.
Watson, did they not play him a pretty good deal on Thursday?
I think they did, which tells me they wanted to make a decision.
Final decision.
They wanted to put him out there and make their call and get it over with, and they made it.
Yep. So he's out there. Teams that are looking.
Yep.
Brett Hundley is available. Numero, let's see, uno, dos, tres.
There you go, George. Yeah. BGA Spanish right there. The Steelers, they have lost out on 2 veterans for the season. Number 1, Carl Joseph, a safety for them, and Anthony Miller, a wide receiver who actually played at Memphis. So tough breaks there for the Steelers on offense and defense.
Watson, I saw part of their game against Seattle. That is a bad piece of news when you come out of a preseason game with guys that are out for the year, man, that absolutely stinks.
Well, and not a proven quarterback on top of that. I would say in my time here in the last 20 years or so, this is the weakest going into the season I've seen a Steeler team. George, they got a lot of issues right now, and I don't even think they know who they're going to play at quarterback because really, truthfully, all three of them played pretty good the other day.
Yeah.
And Pickett played real good. So I don't know that I've seen the Steelers not stable going into a season like this in a long, long time.
So this shirt is definitely not Steelers, not this year. What's item number 4?
Shirt today.
Yeah.
Item number 4, we go to the NBA, and they've announced that they will not play on Election Day. In return, all 30 teams will play the day before in a civic engagement night. So that's what they'll do. They will not play on Election Day.
Okay. The first word that comes to mind, whatever. I mean, am I supposed to believe that the NBA thinks so highly of itself that they believe that if they're playing, that somehow the voters will not turn out? I mean,
I
really?
giggled on this one. I mean, when I read it, I giggled. I said, what? You have no other decisions to make than that one? I mean, I'm going.
Big decision from Adam Silver.
I mean, don't you know the city of Atlanta is just in mourning? I mean, they can't get to the polls because the Hawks are playing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Who knows? These commissioners are really, I'm telling you, I'm not sure they're not getting together and saying, who's going to be the weirdest one this week?
One word, whatever.
Whatever.
And last but certainly not least, George, we have an update on Bronny James's recruitment. Of course, the son of LeBron James, and apparently Ohio State, USC, and Oregon are going after that kid. Obviously, everyone in the country is, but those are the 3 that I think have a legit shot at him. He is a definite one-and-doner, Watson, because LeBron has put it out there that he wants to play 1 year with his son.
Yeah, saw that. It's amazing, isn't it? These guys now, well, I don't want this guy on my team. I don't want this guy on my team. I want to play 1 year with my son.
Want my son.
I want this guy to be in charge of the offense and this guy to be in charge of the defense. I mean, they're the head coach, the general manager pretty quick. And then I saw where LeBron wants to own a team in Vegas. So
yeah,
I go, what the heck? You already own one in
Los
Lakerland.
Angeles.
So what do you need another one for?
Just name him commissioner.
And be done with it.
Yeah.
And then figure out what he does on Election Day. So if I've got this right, the 3 schools, you get Ohio State because Bronny grew up in that state from Akron.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 are simply that his dad is out on the West Coast. USC, a lot of people believe, is the front runner. And I was trying to think earlier of father-son deals that have played together. Watson, the only one I could come up with was Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. Am I missing somebody?
Boy, I'd have to think that one out. You'd think there's more, but that'd be the only one I would have popped up with real quick like.
Billy, you got any?
That would be my.
That'd be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have a heck of a show today. First of all, call it what you want. University of Tennessee Tuesday with the football season just around the corner. Tony Basilio, longtime Knoxville sports talk show host, will join us. I'm going to let Watson lead off the questions because a week ago when we had these guys together, man, they were terrific, and I don't want to stop that. And so Watson will be the leadoff hitter after the break. And then at 5 o'clock, we'll talk with Ball State head football coach Mike New. His team opens against Tennessee on Thursday night, September the 1st at Neyland Stadium. A lot to talk about, so get ready. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
We are back, and we're about to talk some University of Tennessee football. As you know, the ball's open Thursday night, September the 1st, against Ball State, and their head coach, Mike New, will join us later this afternoon around 5:05. Longtime Knoxville sports talk show host Tony Basilio will be with us each and every Tuesday. We are excited about that. Let's bring him up first. And Tony, how you doing?
Doing great today. I'm back in Pennsylvania at my brother's house, so visiting with family, so it's nice.
Oh, awesome. Listen, I thought when you and Watson got together a week ago, the conversation was incredible. So I'm going to do the smart thing. I'm going to let Watson lead this off, and then I'll clean up whatever messes he leaves behind. Watson, the floor is yours.
I felt it too, Watson. So I don't know if you felt it, but I felt it, man.
Oh, yeah. I had a blast. And Tony, thanks for coming back with us. And thanks for doing this this year. This is going to just be so much fun, and to watch Tennessee each week and where they improve, where they don't, if they get upset, did they not. We're going to have a blast with this. And my first thing that surprised me, Tony, was to see a team scrimmage on Sunday morning surprised me. I don't see that very often, especially in the South where it's church times. Did that surprise you that they did that?
No question. But it's almost like nothing surprises you anymore about anything. But 25 years ago, if that would have happened, that would have been a major controversy, right?
Oh, geez.
Nobody would even batted an eye over it.
No, you're exactly right. We would have got killed if we did that 25 years ago. Absolutely. Yeah. I'd have had parents killing me.
Yes.
That you're not letting my son go to church and you're making him practice during church time. All of them may get hurt because you're taking on a pretty strong structure right there. So no, that really surprised me, Tony, that they did that. And the other thing that excited me for Tennessee was that I saw where they went 1s-on-1s, 2s-on-2s, 3s-on-3s most of the day. And that's different in today's world. You might start out doing a little 1s-on-1s, but you end up some 2s. But it looked like they put their best against their best quite a bit of the time. I always thought my better teams, when that happened, the defense would maybe not win, but it was a 50-50 contest. And it looked like the Tennessee defense played pretty well and hung in there with the offense in this scrimmage.
I think that was kind of the point of what they did. And from the standpoint that you're talking about, when you look at what they did and how they did what they did, I was talking about this on my show. It's really easy, and you know this, coaches can shape the way a scrimmage goes by a few decisions. Now, I understand from talking to some people, offensively, what Tennessee decided to do was they decided that what they inevitably were going to do is not throw the long ball, work on the running game, work on the short passing game, keep the numbers down, and let the defense feel like they had a win in a 1v1 situation. Because, I'm of the belief that if they really wanted to, with the secondary woes that Tennessee has, if they really wanted to, they could probably do whatever they wanted to do to that defense.
Well, and I can remember being the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, and Gary Gibbs was the head coach, and Tom Hayes was the defensive coordinator, and they'd always gone 1s-on-1s, and the defense at Oklahoma had been really good. It's one of the reasons that I guess I was brought in. But when we had our first scrimmage that week, they were talking about it, and I said, guys, I don't think it's smart to put our one offense against our one defense the whole day. Right now, you need some confidence built on the offensive side of the ball. And Cale Gundy was my quarterback at that point. And we didn't. And what ended up happening in that scrimmage, Tony, the second team offense got the first team defense pretty good that day. But you got to be careful with those scrimmages against each other. And that's one of my pet peeves, Tony, till this day. George has heard me harp on this forever. Why in the world college football is the only sport that doesn't have a scrimmage against somebody else before they play?
Doesn't make any sense.
I've never understood that. So that's why you've got to be careful in these scrimmages that you don't create a confidence piece for somebody getting ready to go into the season, that one side of the ball kill the other side. And man, it's hard to come back from that. And then all of a sudden you got to play somebody.
And I think that's why they did what they did with the scrimmage. Now, fans don't like me saying what I'm saying, which is that, look, I mean, as you guys were in that room, that's a really good look-see into what I'm talking about. Because invariably a smart coordinator like you will say, hey, if I'm on defense, okay, and I'm Tim Banks, or I'm Willie Martinez, Tennessee secondary coach, I'm saying to Josh Heupel, please, okay, we're going to go 1v1s. Please don't throw the long ball on us. I mean, I know we can do that. I know you guys can hit that. I know you can score 70, whatever pick your score. And so what Tennessee did, we were talking last week about the importance of finishing drives. And what they chose to focus on were things that will lead to them finishing drives, getting a tough couple of yards inside, and sticking to that and working the running game. And then conversely, working their inside wide receivers, or, their guys in the slot, and who are a couple of inexperienced guys in terms of being slot type players, and really not typical slot receivers. These are wideouts that can't get off of press coverage, which is why they're inside. So, they just worked on what they needed to work on. And at the end of the day, I think it was very productive, because I think they walked out of that defensively. Those kids got a little bit of confidence, whether it's real or not, who cares? They got to put up some good numbers against a prolific defense and feel good about themselves for a day. And then offensively, I think they got done talking to them. I think they got done what they wanted to get done.
Well, and what they needed to get done was consistency of long drives, in which they didn't have last year. They had quarters. We talked about it last week, Tony. They had quarters where they just did nothing. So when you say that, it makes a little sense that it also is something they needed to work on offensively a little bit, is consistently a 3, 4, 5, 6, keep the ball and take it down the field, because which is better for your team, a quick score or a 20-play score? And no doubt about it, the 20-play score is the best way to score, because you've not only wore the other side down, you're also giving your defense a rest, and you got the same number of points if you'd have got your points in one play. So I'm not sure that wasn't a smart thing that they did. And I'll bet you, Tony, they come back in this last scrimmage and they don't go ones-on-ones much at all.
I would bet you that's the case, yeah. You would think, to your point, you will want both sides to have their to feel like they've put their best foot forward in that final scrimmage, which would lend itself to not doing that, which is an excellent point on your part.
Now, the other thing I saw, Tony and George, when you need to pop in to do so, I thought I saw depth more. And to me, the style they play, that is the key. For sure defense, but I think both sides. And I'm seeing more players that can play on Saturday from what I read about the scrimmage. And the depth on defense look there, but I'm seeing offensive depth. And I always say, if you got 8 offensive linemen, if you got an extra guard, an extra center, and an extra tackle, you're okay. You've got to have depth at wide receiver, and you've got to have 3 running backs, and you've got to have 2 quarterbacks. And I saw, Milton played, but they bragged on him quite a bit in this scrimmage, going, I guess, with the 2s against the 2s. And that's a good sign for Tennessee if he truly is getting better.
And that's the $1 million question, because again, like with Milton, and I hate to be this person, but I'm skeptical of guys that lose jobs at 2 different places. When you're a quarterback and it's kind of like that kid at LSU that just left there. When you lose a job 3 or 4 times, or lose a competition 3 or 4 times under a couple of different administrations, at some point that's on you. Tennessee is really trying to keep, and I give that Milton guy a lot of credit, because, sometimes the looks of things can be deceiving. You would kind of look at that guy and you would think about him leaving Michigan, and you would think he's going to come down to Tennessee and demand to be the starter. And he took that demotion last year about as good as you possibly can in this era for a quarterback. It did not, from him being a team player, the way he encouraged all his teammates, you'd see him on the sidelines in a game, not the bad checked out body language. He was happy for his teammates. I say all that to say, if they put him in a football game as a starter because something happens with Hendon Hooker and he has to start a game and win a game, I'm here to tell you, I don't trust that guy, but I'm glad they say great things about him in practice. I think that's wonderful.
Well, I think they're trying to get his confidence up.
Sure.
Yeah. Is what they're trying to do. They probably set some things up where it wasn't real hard for him, and give him some, just what you and I just talked about the defense. And I'm not sure they're not doing the same thing with Milton. And just if he can just be a backup, he don't have to go win the games. If they'll structure it to where he just gets it to certain people, but he struggled with that. This style of offense, I just don't think fits him, Tony. And I'll offend George. You can come in after this, but get you to comment, Tony. He's not a quick twitch guy. This style of offense takes a quick twitch quarterback. And thought process and release of the football and quick feet. You've got to have all three of those pieces. And I don't know that he has any of the three pieces.
And the thing about this offense is that I think it's a misconception with a lot of people. You don't need a tremendous arm to play in that offense, but you need to be quick. You need to be decisive. It needs to be on time. And when you throw the long ball, which is a great case in point, last year we go back to the Pittsburgh game. If you have competent quarterback play in that game, he missed several wide open. I'm talking in a Division I football game, you've got to hit those passes. When a receiver gets behind somebody 10, 15 yards, and there's nobody there and there's no safety, there's no help, that's non-negotiable. And they left, and I'm not exaggerating here, he easily left 4 or 5 of those on the field last year, which I think is why they decided to admit the mistake, go with Hooker, and you made a great point last week, feed him a little bit each week and get him up to where they need him to be. And, the importance of my looking at Josh Heupel, their recruiting is going really well on the defensive end. He continues to impress me. And the guy's ability to manage people and to a lot of coaches don't admit mistakes, and Heupel did it a couple times last year on a couple of fronts. And head coaches don't like to admit, they just don't like to choose or admit they've chosen the wrong horse on one of those deals. And good for him for not doing that.
No, and you talking about long ball, Tony, in today's football, everything is so much quicker than it used to be. I compare it to arena ball. The ball, a deep ball now doesn't travel over 45 yards. It's not that old play action pass, drop back another 5 steps and throw it as far as you can throw it. That's not the deep ball in college football today. And it's becoming not the deep ball in pro football today. If a ball lands 45 yards, that's about as far as it goes when you're throwing these skinny posts and these takeoffs, and that's really the deep balls. Is those two type routes, and you just, as long as you've got timing and put it in the right spot, that's all you need.
Yeah, and it's a great point. And timing is everything. And again, that goes back to confidence, and that goes back to that offense calls for somebody that has a feel. You've got to feel the position if you're going to play for a Josh Heupel, and that's why I think it's real interesting. Tennessee has a kid on their bench who's got a real chance to be a nice player, a freshman here they really like, and a kid out of Indianapolis. And it would not surprise me if he gets an opportunity. They have a much ballyhooed freshman coming in next year. I'll tell you, that will be an interesting camp battle next year. And Milton probably is going to stick around as well. So, because the thing about this offense is, and I think we share the same opinion, you don't have to be lights out great to excel in that offense, but you do have to have certain characteristics you were talking about.
You got to have the quickness pieces, and you've got to be patient to get it to the right people. I mean, the people you're getting it to are going to make the plays. Mm-hmm. The quarterback's just got to get it to them, and that's the way I think he's built this offense. George, what you got?
Well, Tony, first of all, I think this is the best segment I have ever done. I think you saw some of my real talent in this interview with you. No, seriously, couple of things. This is where the dumb questions come from. What are they paying Ball State?
I don't know. That would be a great question for Coach, because
I'm going to ask him.
Yeah, well, you ought to ask him because it varies. I do think, though, that Tennessee's pretty generous with non-league opponents from that standpoint, but it varies by team, I believe.
Tell me this before we go. Give me a couple of names of some people that have pleasantly surprised you that maybe in July wouldn't have been on anybody's radar?
That's a really good question. And, I would have to think that inside for Tennessee in their slot, they've gotten some pretty good play so far. There are a couple guys vying there. The thing about Heupel's offense that's really interesting is a guy to look for is a mid-state guy. Merrill is a kid that I think is going to end up in their rotation. And I don't think a lot of people thought that, but he is a steady as you go type of player for them. And that's what they're looking for. I mean, to Watson's point, they don't need guys to burn and run around. They need guys to run intricate, not simple routes, but routes that are on time, in the right spot, and they like him a lot. So that's a guy that I think you're going to see. Another kid, there's a freshman running back who we talked about last week, who I think is going to have an impact. There were a couple of really good freshman running backs that are going to vie for time. The interesting thing about their offense is that despite having all these guys running around, they really only use 3 wide receivers. They don't substitute much at all. So if you're not on the field when the series begins, you're not on the field. And that's different than what you see with a lot of teams. The other side of it is that with the running game, a couple guys will play, maybe a third, and right now there's 4 or so. And then with Lynn J. Dixon, the transfer, that'll add another to the mix. But the number of skill guys that actually get on the field and get to contribute is not great. Tennessee still has an issue with the blindside tackle, and that's something that's going to drag into the season, unfortunately for them. So that's the one bugaboo. And hey, that's college football. Everybody but Alabama has issues, at this time of the year.
You got that right. Spend a minute and tell people a little bit about how they can hear you and some of the content that you bring to the table.
Yeah, thanks. So I do a blog every day. Like today, we do a thing called Hoops Tuesday. We had some Tennessee basketball recruiting stuff in there, and we kind of were talking about a kid that ended up committing today to Tennessee. In fact, it's been really good in terms of what's going on recruiting wise here in both the major sports. Basketball team and the football team has just had a great run with secondary players. Offensively, Tennessee in recruiting is lagging behind their defense. I mean, honk if you had that on your bingo card, because nobody did. But that's the way it's played out so far. My website is called tclub.team. Again, the letter T with club after it, .team. We put a blog up there every day. My show is there every day. And then after games, soon as any Tennessee football or basketball game ends, I'm right on the air there mixing it up with fans.
Beautiful. I love it. And I love the fact you're mixing it up with Watson. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor.
For taking the time to come on.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
This was a big get for us when Tony Basilio agreed to do this, and I can't thank him enough as we talk University of Tennessee football on what we're calling Tennessee Tuesday. Boy, we really, what's the word I'm looking for here, Billy?
How about that? That's your Father Ryan.
Such creativity.
Father Ryan education right there.
We'll go to the break, and when we come back, Tiger Woods becoming a leader in the PGA fight against LIV. We'll talk about it here on Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonleyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
We are back. To me, a very interesting story in this golf battle between the PGA Tour and LIV. PGA turning to its top gun, if you will, in Tiger Woods, the guy that has a level of popularity that virtually nobody else has in a day and time where his golf game, because of injury, has really diminished. Watson, I remember the tour desperately wanting him to take a leadership role, and in the past he wouldn't, and now all of a sudden he's willing to.
I think age, maturity, he looks back on what the tour meant for him. I've seen both sides of this, George, and I saw where Stephen A. Smith just blasted Tiger Woods today for doing that. Imagine that. And he said, we live in a capitalistic country. Why are they cutting these people, trying to do away with these people and being, I said, they're scared to death. That's why. But the tour didn't really make these people. Golf is an absolute individual sport. Tiger Woods had the opportunity to be on the tour, but he had to do the winning. and he had to win those, 15 majors or whatever it is, and 80 something tournaments. And so golf is so different than the NFL or the NBA or whatever. But that's the first time I've seen Tiger do anything like that, George, as to where he just absolutely jumped up. And I would love to be a fly on the wall and listen to what he said in the room. I think what he'll be trying to do is talk to you buddies. We've got to stick together on this. We cannot split and have half go one way and half another. It won't work for either side if this happens. That's what I'll bet you he's talking to him about.
Isn't the real issue, Watson, the fact that LIV was able to get anybody suggests that something isn't quite right on the PGA Tour, because all of a sudden, the minute those people defected, PGA like that all of a sudden said, oh, bigger purses.
Well, they've had a monopoly for so long. I mean, for so long, George, that I imagine they've stepped on a few toes themselves along the way and upset players. And they would suggest, why don't we think about doing this? Why you play golf, we'll take care of everything else. You know, maybe that kind of mentality, and maybe coming back to bite them a little bit. And the dollars are so out there. I mean, they're out there now. I mean, there were reports that Tiger was offered $700 million.
When I heard that, I was like,
there's reports that Bryson DeChambeau got $100 million to go. So, I mean, the money is unbelievable that's being thrown around. And as Stephen A. said, we live in a capitalistic country. I'm not sure, no matter what the PGA does, George, they can put this to bed. I think LIV Golf is here for a while if they got that kind of money.
Let me ask you this, though. The one piece of this, LIV gets a lot of attention, but do you ever hear anybody say, hey, did you watch that LIV event? And man, it was a hell of a golf tournament.
Well,
I don't hear any of that.
No, but it's not on yet. It may be streaming here or there, but they don't have these network tie-ins the way that the PGA Tour does. And if and when that takes place, look out. But they don't have to have it, George, because they generate their own money. They don't have to rely on these networks to pay the tour to where we can have these big purses. So they're throwing out their own money. If they keep getting these guys, like if Cam Smith, who right now is rated #1 player on tour, there's strong talk he's going, that as soon as the series is over, that to finish the year, he's gone.
Yeah.
If the #1 guy on tour leaves, look out. And I can just see 10 years from now and say, well, they're not going to get to play on any of the majors. LIV will have their own majors. And that will be as big a majors as maybe the Masters or the U.S. Open is. Who knows? I just don't see this going away. Everybody's saying, oh, this is a fad. I don't see it. Too many dollars. The more and more players that keep jumping ship to go, the stronger this thing gets.
Okay, let me try this. I agree with you that it's not going away anytime soon, but I do think the best thing the PGA Tour has are the traditionals, the Masters, the U.S. Open, the PGA. I mean, I'm not willing to believe that winning the Dubai Classic will feel the same way in this country that winning the Masters will. To me, that's the best thing the PGA has going for it.
Yeah, but 10 years is a long time. A lot of things change. I don't think 10 years ago we'd have thought there would have been NILs, that we'd have had open
Good
transfer
point.
rules, that we would have had mega conferences. George, it's just
Good
money speaks.
point.
Money speaks. It spoke in college football. I think it's going to speak in the professional golf world too.
Billy?
George?
Remember this. Money talks, and don't complete the second sentence.
I'll try not to.
Thank you.
I want to see a Live versus PGA, just flat out tournament.
You know,
get the Live guys together and get the PGA guys together, and just Let them duel it out somewhere.
Okay, and create essentially. This is a good point you're bringing up.
I mean, if Tiger wants to battle with them, why not, propose a I don't know if that's possible.
What's the thing? I'm not the golf fan that a lot of people are, and all of a sudden it won't come to me. The Europeans versus the Americans.
Ryder Cup.
The Ryder Cup. Okay. He's bringing up a good point. That would be a hell of a thing right now.
That would get so many viewers.
I think 10 years from now it'll happen. I don't think it's happening anytime soon because PGA won't have any part of it. NFL didn't have any part of the AFL, would not touch it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
once they did,
there's a merger.
Yeah.
They're going right. So I'm telling you, history shows that these things end up together some way or another.
Either way, I want Charles Barkley in the booth. It doesn't get any better than him, especially if you can analyze his golf swing, which sadly, mine looks very similar.
No,
it does.
No,
we'll go to the break. Watson, I think we have been stronger than Birmingham Steel recently on Stat of the Day. We will continue our excellence when we come back. This is Main Street Media Television. Tell me a little bit about your company.
So One Stop Realty has been around since 1974. We are your hometown brokerage. It is family owned by me. We have 30 agents that are waiting to help you with all your real estate needs. That counts as residential, commercial, and property management. We also will be getting into the auction business at the end of this month as well. We have listings that range from every price range that you can think of on the real estate market. I know Shelly Tucker has a new listing coming up in Gallatin. Heather Patton has one in Madison right around the corner here. I have one coming up myself. We have everything you need as far as real estate, and we have the expertise to help you out.
Beautiful. Give them a phone number.
Phone numbers for the office is 615-822-0750. You can find us on the web at www.onestoprealty.tn.com.
Thanks for getting involved with us.
George,
really appreciate this. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think so.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Hey, if you're a high school fan, you are going to love that show. So mark it down, whether you're going to a game or not. From 6 to 11 p.m., we have got it cranking here at Main Street Media Television. Billy, what do you got over there?
George, we got two different sponsors now for Stat of the Day. First, it is brought to you by John English Vintage Sports and Cards. They specialize in antique and historical sports equipment, games, advertising, and other sport-related items. They're open Tuesdays through Fridays in Shelbyville from noon to 5 o'clock and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit them online at johnenglishgradedcards.com. Also, Stat of the Day is brought to you by Rock Castle Wealth Advisors. Call Eric Berner at 615-490-7052. Visit Rock Castle Wealth for more info.
These are two good guys, two friends of mine. If you have the ability to support them, please do.
All right, George. If you guys have the ability to answer Stat of the Day, please do. And we'll have to see if you guys can stay hot. The question is, which pair holds the record for the most combined NHL points scored by two brothers?
Good Lord.
A little bit of a tough one. We're going to the NHL.
Okay, yes, that's hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Watson, let's you and I talk about it for just a second.
You're going to do most of the talking. You know me. I'm not much on the history of hockey now.
This is a long shot one. Gordie Howe's two kids go back, but I don't know. They played a lot in the WHA, the old league that tried to rival the NHL. I don't know. And the other one is the Seguin. Yeah, sorry.
That's the one I would have thought.
Yeah.
Without knowing the answer.
Yeah, but you do know the answer.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there kind of smug. You know what?
Should we just give you the answer?
Yeah, I mean, what the heck?
Well, George, I was surprised by this. Wayne and Brent Gretzky.
Oh, that's so
totally forgot about
bogus.
Brent Gretzky.
I didn't even know there was a Brent.
Me neither.
Did you? Watson?
Good Lord. Poor Brent. I mean, Wayne
4
scores
points.
2,857. Brent scores 4. Lord have mercy.
Little bit one-sided.
Well, I've got to say this.
There, wouldn't you say?
If Brent had a little bit of a complex because of older brother, who could blame him?
Yeah, who could blame him? I'm not sure I'd want that put up
Lord. So I don't know. I don't like the question. Do you?
I don't like it at all.
I think we deserve better. We had been killing it, so they had to go with something that obscure.
He had to get something where we'd lose. That's all.
Yeah.
He
had to be quick.
So Billy, are you aware it's the 5 o'clock hour?
I am aware the 5 o'clock hour is here. We've got Mike New coming up, but before we get to him, we got to get to our sponsor, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint. They combine state-of-the-art orthopedic service with a family atmosphere. Whether it's a sports injury, a sprained ankle, or a major joint replacement, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has the staff, training, and equipment needed to take care of any patient in any circumstance. Their mission is to provide high-quality, specialized orthopedic care in a compassionate manner to the people of Columbia and Middle Tennessee. Visit them online at mtbj.net for more information.
Okay, so it is the 5 o'clock hour, and we're thrilled to say hello to Ball State head football coach Mike New. Some of you will remember that Mike New has a Nashville background. He was once the offensive coordinator of the Nashville Cats, and if the truth be known, his quarterback was University of Tennessee grad Andy Kelly. So, Mike, has Andy reached out to you at all?
First of all, it's great to see you, George, and I appreciate
Same
you
here.
having me on. I have been texting, believe it or not, I've been texting back and forth with Andy today. And before I forget, he wanted me to make sure that I said, make sure and deliver the message that he said hello.
Yeah, you tell him I said hello. What a great guy he is. one of the all-time best. So, okay, I'm going to ask you a loaded bullet right off the bat, and feel free to tell me I'm not answering that. But obviously, when a team like a Ball State plays a Tennessee, there's a big financial reason for doing it. Is it public what you guys are getting paid for that game?
To be honest with you, George, I don't even ask our athletic director what it is. She knows. She's asked me my feelings in the past on scheduling and how I feel about that. And obviously, I've got full trust in her. We'll play anybody. I'm not afraid to play anybody. Certainly Tennessee is a great opponent, but certainly when you're at a place like Ball State and you're a mid-major, obviously the financial piece of it can certainly help the other programs on your campus, and I know that's part of it. And she has my full support. Whatever needs to get done that way, I'm good with.
So help me with this. This is certainly not the first time that you've done this kind of thing. In your tenure at Ball State, you've played Indiana, you've played some others. Talk to me about that, and what is the player reaction? Does this get their juices going to play at that level?
Without question. We played Notre Dame in 2018, and what a great experience to be able to play in such a storied venue, storied program like that, and much the same way here going to Tennessee. The last time I was at a Tennessee game, I was with Andy. That was way back in our Nashville days, and he took me over to my first game ever at Neyland Stadium. So it was awesome then. I can only imagine what it might be like right now. So this is awesome. Our players certainly embrace the challenge. We're playing against a very good opponent, but that's why you play the game. You're a competitor, man, and you want to, you feel like you can compete with anybody. And so our guys have been working hard. We're 12 practices into training camp right now. Got a lot of work left to be done, but our guys embrace this. This is a great opportunity for us.
Mike, obviously, Tennessee, the fact that you're playing them was a big reason I wanted to have you on now. People may not know this. Teams that travel, that end up going on the road, normally they will go through what's called a walkthrough at the visiting stadium where they're playing. Isn't this one a little more important than most, just sheer size, trying to get depth perception, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, what we typically do, it'll be no different than what we did when we went to Notre Dame a couple of years ago. We'll do our walkthrough that we want to get done here before we get on the airplane. But once we get to Knoxville there and we get on the bus, as part of our day before the game will be to stop by the stadium. Let's just get that out of the way. We went to Penn State last year. We did the same thing. We'll stop by the stadium, just have a chance to walk around, take in the atmosphere, walk around on the grass if we're allowed to do that. Just take it all in, and make sure that the first time that they're not, game day won't be the first time that they see the stadium, see the size of the stadium, all those good things. So that's, things that we've done in the past anytime we visited, a venue like this, and that'll be the same way this time.
Mike, as you know, they have sold a record number of season tickets. There's a lot of excitement going on up there right now under Josh Heupel. How do you simulate the crowd noise that place is capable of making?
Yeah, obviously that's something that we do with our preparation. We have to apologize to the homes and the neighbors that live close to the stadium here. Our athletic director does a good job of communicating with them in advance, because we want to make it as loud as possible. We try to pipe in crowd noise, music, perhaps a little bit of Tennessee music, but we want to make sure that we make it as loud as possible, so the communication on game day, if we can't hear in the venue, if it's loud, if we, certainly that won't be something that we're working on or hearing for the first time on game day.
Okay, there's a lot of things to talk to you about with your football team. The last time you and I got together, you were really emotional, and rightfully so, about the fact that you had taken your alma mater to a bowl game. Talk to me about what's going on since then.
Yeah, we're just working hard. Obviously I was fortunate enough to play my college career at Ball State, play quarterback here and be part of 2 championship teams as a player, just to help our program get back to winning a championship for the first time in 24 years. It was awesome to be a part of that. And now the goal is to sustain success. We want to be in the championship conversation every year. We want we've been to back-to-back bowl games now for only the third time in school history. So we're in a very competitive conference. The Mid-American Conference is one possession conference. 2 years ago when we won the championship, we were picked to finish last and won it. Last year in this conference, Northern Illinois was picked to finish last and won it. It's a competitive conference. You've got to bring your A game every single week. We've been in 15 one-possession games over the last 3 years in this conference. So it's a challenge from top to bottom, a lot of parity. That's what makes this conference special, in my opinion. And this will be no different. It'll be a great, challenging year. We've had some turnover. We graduated 30 players from our program a year ago that have been with us a long time. Some took advantage of the COVID year. But even though there's a lot of young men that, exited and graduated from our program, we still feel strongly about the guys that have been here working hard, played a lot of football, just perhaps haven't been in a starting role yet. So we'll be ready. We still got a lot of work left to do here in training camp, but we'll be ready to go.
Mike, I want to ask you one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to Watson. The MAC is best known around the country to people who don't live in that area as the network you see in November. You all got very creative with ESPN, with CBS Sports Network, and you play a bunch of Tuesday night and Wednesday night and Thursday night games in November. I'm just kind of curious, what has that done for you all in recruiting?
Well, what's awesome is, those midweek MACtion games, and we play 4 this year on Tuesday night, all Tuesday night games in November. And even though it's a little bit challenging because it's a Tuesday night, because you have to balance school, some guys certainly, have class that day that they still have to attend up till noon. The coolest thing about all of it is, when you're a football junkie, a lot of these NFL personnel guys and a lot of general managers have reached out the day after the game, the night after the game was over, just, making a comment or, saying, hey, I just watched you guys, like what I see, keep doing a good job, whatever it may be. But it's pretty awesome to be able to have some communication with them, knowing that they're watching those games. When that's what you do for a living and you're a scout and you're trying to find, players to evaluate and bring in for your franchise, you're going to watch a football game anytime, any day. And that's the best part of being the only show in town on those Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
It's great to have a longtime friend. Ball State head football coach Mike New is on the line with us. Watson, what do you got for him?
Mike, it's interesting to watch Tennessee offensively. I think that they're about as fast as anybody in the country right now. And I think you can't go fast, Mike, unless you leave the same personnel on the field constantly. And that's what they do. How do you prepare for that? The speed of what they do. And I know a lot of people are doing the fast-paced offenses, but these guys seem to be different. And by leaving the same personnel, Mike, out there, to me, you have to leave the same personnel out there. And, man, you've got to be in really good condition. How do you practice that? To me, it's a little bit like the old wishbone. It's hard to simulate it in practice. When I first started with Pat Dye at East Carolina, we were wishbone. More and more people did it. It got easier. But this pace that they do, to me, is different than most in the country.
There's no question. They're doing it right now as good as anybody. And it is a challenge, practicing that even way back in spring practice, having tempo periods in practice where we're trying to play as fast as possible. Our defensive coordinator's done a tremendous job here with how he's prepared the defense with some creative, tempo drills that we've done where it's not always working the offense versus the defense and trying to play tempo throughout the entire practice. But we've chopped it up back in spring practice and training camp here. And we've worked a ton on tempo. Obviously, our guys got to be in great shape because that's what they do. They're going to make sure that they keep you on the field because if they sub, then we can sub. And so that is the number one challenge on the list. 114 plays. I believe were ran in the Purdue game in that bowl game. And so that's a lot of plays to defend. That's a lot of certainly demanding that your conditioning is at a high level. So that's a big challenge. But obviously we've, to be able to have that as game number one, we've been able to work well in advance, having some periods even back in spring practice to try to address that and be ready for the speed and the tempo of which they're going to play.
Mike, I think what they do is they're a numbers offense. Looks to me like 100% numbers offense, and their system's built to where if you've got the extra in the box, they're throwing it somewhere. If you walked out, they're going to hand it off, and they do it so fast. To me, the best way to stop that is to get them out of the chains some way to stop the fast, because then it's not a numbers offense anymore. It's second and third and long, and it changes the thought process completely of the play calling. Do you agree with that? That some way you've got to, you're not going to stop the numbers in the game, but you can stop drives if you can just get that some way to get them out of that chain area, because if they stay within the chain, man, it's a very hard thing to stop.
There's no doubt, because when you're a tempo offense and to be able to totally be in control of the game and dictate the pace in which it's played, you got to get the first down. And you see a lot of creativity, especially on those first play of the drives when they have those. And, that is the big challenge, because if you can get them, as you mentioned there, behind the chains, and you can get an advantage that way, then, that's one way that you can slow them down by getting them off the field. So, but obviously they're big and fast. Certainly when you watch the tape, faster than anybody that we will have played, and they're doing a great job. Coach Heupel is doing a great job. I'm obviously living those years in Nashville and seeing the support for Tennessee football was awesome. It's a great challenge for us, but it's good to see, what's taking place there as well.
Last thing with me, Mike, I'll take you back to George. Where are you now? You lost a lot of guys. Do you feel really good? Do you think you got a shot to have a good year? Or are things falling into place as you get ready for the season?
Yeah, I think the perception outside of our building is we lost 30 players to graduation, so we must be rebuilding. That's not the feeling inside this building. Our guys have worked hard. We've got several guys that have played a lot of football. We're forced into starting roles probably a little bit earlier than they wanted to be, because we had some injuries a year ago. So we'll be ready. We'll have a new quarterback. Our quarterback that graduated, had a nice showing for himself the other night. He was 6 for 6 in the preseason game, playing for the Cincinnati Bengals, and led him to a touchdown. But the young man that's going to take over for us at quarterback, John Paddock, has been here for 3 years, worked tirelessly behind the scenes when no one's watching, invested a lot of time to get to know the offense. So it's his time, and he's positioned himself great to take on this role. And we got a bunch of hungry guys, got a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, but we got some hungry guys that have been very, very businesslike here in training camp. And we still got several practices left here before we, lace them up and play a game. So a lot to work on here, but a very confident group, in our locker room here.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you one last thing and kind of get your perspective on it. It seems to me at your level, if you recruit a young guy who really achieves, and maybe achieves at a level that is higher than what he would have been graded going into it all, that all of a sudden you're having to fend off all the big schools that are coming in as though, you're a buzzard and you're just there as roadkill for them. How in the world do you fight that?
Well, you try not to let it keep you up every night, but it's definitely something that's real. And I can't lie, when I lay my head down on the pillow at night, it consumes more time than I really want it to. But all we can do is control what we got going on here at Ball State, make sure we treat these guys with respect, make sure we love them, make sure they know how important the family piece of it here. And we just hope that that's reciprocated from all of our players. They love it. They love their teammates here. Certainly, it can get, somebody dangling a carrot out there, or maybe a little bit of money. And, it does happen. It's unfortunate, but it does happen through a third party or through, a mutual acquaintance, whatever it may be. But all we can do is just control what we got going on here at Ball State, make sure they feel great, make sure they love it, and just, sell them on how the brotherhood and keeping their feet on the ground here in Muncie, Indiana, that can certainly pay dividends down the road in their life. And just stay together, man, and we can accomplish something special.
Well, I know this. They have a head coach who loves his school. That would be you. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. I know you got better things to do than yap with me, but thanks for coming on, and thanks for the visit.
Oh, there's nothing I'd rather be doing. I'm flattered that you had me on and asked me to be here. So I really appreciate it. It's good to see you again. I miss my days in Nashville, Tennessee.
Come on back. That's Mike New. He's the head football coach at Ball State University. And as most of you know, they open Thursday night, September the 1st, against the University of Tennessee. When we come back, Watson and I are going to take a look at those week 1 openers involved with the SEC and see how Vegas is feeling about them. So stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards. We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. One area I can help with is if you are newly or nearly retired, or maybe have changed jobs and have an old 401k account. You may need more information to help you clearly understand your options. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
Do you love bacon? I mean, do you really love bacon? Who doesn't, right? The 3rd annual Murfreesboro Bacon Fest is coming up Saturday, September 10th. Admission and parking are free. The Bacon Festival will feature live music, food, and craft vendors. And did I say bacon? You can ride a mechanical hog ride. Visit the Kids Zone with free inflatables. There will also be hourly raffles with great prizes and an opportunity to purchase Bacon Festival merchandise. And did I say bacon? Yeah. There will even be a bacon eating contest. Visit the 3rd annual Murfreesboro Bacon Festival Facebook page for all the details.
What a great time of the year with all of the football about to start up. Major League Baseball with some good pennant races. By the way, today around, give or take, about 5:40, we'll open up phones and we'll also get into some text questions with you as well. Let's first of all show you how to put the phone call in at 540, because I'd love to hear from you. That's our phone number, 615-588-2998. Billy, how can they text us a question?
George, if they don't want to call in, they can fire their questions wherever they're watching. If you're watching on Twitter, just go to the live feed, go to the search box and type in a question. If you're watching on Facebook, you can do the same exact thing, and the same thing on YouTube as well. Just type in that search box on the live feed and fire away your questions, and I'll save them up for you and Watson. So it's pretty easy, pretty easy process.
Beautiful. Tomorrow on the show, some really good stuff. Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee at 4:20, and then a really good friend of mine, Dick Gabriel, who covers University of Kentucky football. He has been a part of the UK radio network for years. He will be with us at 5 o'clock on the button. Watson, it's hard to believe, but in particular in Vandy's case, they're only 10 days away from their season opener in Hawaii. And so I thought what we would do is just take a look at each one of the SEC teams' openers and how Vegas is seeing them. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Nice graphic, by the way.
You got it.
Nice show colors.
Yeah, same as ours.
How about that? Yeah. So Watson, up top, the Vandy Hawaii game out there is Saturday, August the 27th. Vandy's a 6.5-point favorite. What has happened to Hawaii?
Just not near as good, George. They've after June Jones left, it's just fallen off. And I don't know. I think 6.5 is not enough because they won't even get the home field advantage. There's only 8,000 people going to watch the game. So, I mean, it's like a scrimmage, and I just think Vandy will have the better team and probably will win by 14 to 17 points.
Interesting. Okay, let's go to Tennessee's game. Vegas has it at 31.5. And Watson, if you're Ball State, and I know you were kind of getting to this with Mike, how do you pick your poison as far as how you try to play them on defense?
Well, I was trying to get to it and needed more time, but it's really hard because he's got a lot more football after this game, and what Tennessee does is they don't let you substitute. And so you got to leave your guys out there, and you can get them hurt. And that would be an awful way to lose some kids early in the season in this game to me, George. And another thing I wanted to ask you, but I knew we were out of time, was, do you try to slow the game down on offense to where you try your best to give your own people some rest, or do you go at a pace to try to stay with them? It's hard for being the major underdog in a game like this, playing this style. I remember when I went to Oregon, when I took Tennessee Tech to Oregon, and it scared me to death. We're a returning OVC champions and had most of our team back, and I lost my quarterback, got hurt in that game. But that pace is tough, man, and so that was one of the things I wanted to ask him.
Watson, when I asked the question about money, I know it's changed a little bit. Are they getting $1 million?
Yeah, I think they'd be somewhere between $750,000 and $1 million too. It'll fall right in there, right in that right, somewhere in that 500,000 range.
I don't pretend to know what Missouri is, but I know they lost a guy that I liked in Connor Basilak. He transferred to Indiana. What do you see out of them?
Boy, it better be something, or there'll be another guy there next year. I mean, Missouri was non-competitive, especially on defense. And I remember the Missouri-Tennessee game last year, George. It looked like a scrimmage.
Oh, they were defenseless.
Tennessee would just break the line of scrimmage, and there's nobody there, and the guy just nonchalantly run to the end zone. I mean, they've got a long way to go. That's a lot of points. La Tech's usually pretty decent, and I thought that one was quite a few points for Missouri for the way they performed last year.
I'll skip A&M. I think we all think that'll be a track meet. Has Cincinnati lost enough that Arkansas should be a touchdown favorite at home? I mean, Cincy a year ago was in the college football playoff.
I'd take Arkansas in 7 right now. That would not be a bad underdog pick, George, to take Cincinnati. That's going to be a really good game, in my opinion, but I think Arkansas will win.
Georgia opens defense of their national title. I love when it's called a neutral site. There isn't anything neutral about Georgia playing a home game in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz. If you're Oregon, do you have anywhere near the horses to hang in that game?
Well, it doesn't look like it's a neutral site when Georgia's given 17.5.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't look like no neutral site to me. I think that they'll beat Oregon pretty good. It might be right around that number. I think they'll double the score on them, 34-17, something.
Yeah.
That's what I think, and might not even be 17 because Georgia does have a lot of new players. So that would be my only red flag a little bit is just first game when you don't get to scrimmage anybody but yourself and then go play. That's one that I marked that's going to be close to the number, in my opinion, George, right there.
No Matt Corral at Ole Miss, and he was incredible, and it shocked me because 2 years earlier I thought he was a dud. But, man, you talk about a guy that got better. So they're going new at a position that is vital, especially in a Lane Kiffin offense. What do you expect out of Ole Miss?
I think they will be just okay early just because of new faces. That's a lot of points. Troy is usually a solid team. Now, they were down. They've been down a little bit. So
right.
But they do the pace now, and when it's first game of the year, and they're very similar to Tennessee in pace, and leave their players out there and go. Those two back-to-back were two that I marked, said I think it's going to be right around that number either way. That's a tough one. I don't know if I'd mess with either one of those two.
Yeah. Mercer at Auburn, I'm not going to sit here and insult your intelligence and say Mercer's going to win. Auburn did lose Bo Nix. And Watson, I'm not convinced that TJ Finley is an answer there. I kind of feel the same way about him that I did Matt Corral 2 years ago. And if Finley's right, I'll be wrong. But tell me what you think.
I think that's the biggest question football team in the SEC this year is Auburn. I'd throw Missouri in there. How much better has Vanderbilt gotten? Is Tennessee up to the hype? Is Kentucky going to stay where they are? Where is Florida in all this? But I'm telling you, the one to me, of the question marks of all of them, it's Auburn. I don't even know who their quarterback is. This guy's got to get it going early or he might not make it halfway through the year. Coach Harsin. So this has got major red flag written on it to me, George, to watch early in the football season.
Utah, which most people believe is one of the top 10 teams in the country, they are the opener for Florida. And Watson, with a new coaching staff, I guess the one thing I wonder about is Utah ready for the kind of heat and humidity that they likely will get down there?
And a great atmosphere. The Swamp is up there with any of them in this league, any of them. And that's one that I marked as an underdog possibility. I think Florida will have a shot at Utah. I think they'll be flat ready to play. I just know the head coach. And the one thing I know about his teams, they get excited about playing football. So Utah's walking into a trap in this one. Utah's really good, George. I'm a little surprised that it's only 2.
I am too.
I thought it would be 6, 5, 4 at the least. For it to be 2, there's some respect going to the Swamp by these bettors, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
And that one I'd keep my eye on. I think Florida's one of those underdog picks that it's not many points, as we know when we start picking underdogs. But I think that's one that I would mark as one of my 3 possibilities on this sheet.
Kentucky opens at home against Miami of Ohio. I'm sure they'll have John Calipari throw out the first pitch.
Well, we need to talk about that sometime too. I thought that was no class whatsoever.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that at all.
That was no class. None. I can't believe he said that. That's
right. It happened the day you were off.
Yeah, and I didn't get to comment on it. So maybe we can talk about that sometime. It really upset me. That's just not fair.
Is Kentucky still what they have been?
Yep, because the quarterback. I think Kentucky wins this one good. I think Kentucky's going to be good again. I think their quarterback may be the most improved guy this year. He got better at last year as the season went on, and I expect him to really step up and play well this year. So Kentucky's one of my dark horses again.
Alabama's a huge favorite.
Yeah.
Do you like Bama better than Georgia or vice versa?
I like Bama better than Georgia with returning experienced players. But Georgia's not going to lose, George, and they're going to have experience by the time they get to Alabama. So when it gets late in the year, I don't know if I'd say that. Going into the season, I like Alabama better than Georgia, just on returning players.
I was a little surprised how large the Mississippi State line was, in particular after the dud of a bowl game, the egg that they laid in that game. Watson, is it just simply Memphis's defense is that bad?
They got to get better, but the history of this game, George, Memphis plays Mississippi State early and Ole Miss early out of sight. It's history. And I think that's too many points. I'm telling you, I think it's too many points. I'm not saying Memphis is going to win the game, but I just think that's too many points because I've been in this game twice at Mississippi State, and it's a hard football game to play because the Tigers lay it on the line, and it's just history that's the way it works.
Yeah, it's got a little mini Super Bowl feel for them.
Oh, it does. Now, they love it. It don't matter if it's Ole Miss, Mississippi State. They don't care.
A year ago, Georgia State came within an eyelash of winning at Auburn. That didn't exactly get the new coach off to a good start. Now they go to South Carolina, and to me, that's another one. You know, is Spencer Rattler the real deal, or is he the dud that he turned out to be at the end of his Oklahoma year? Well, what do you think?
It's be more to Georgia State. If Georgia State's got a lot of players back, I just hadn't studied them and don't know. South Carolina is going to be better. I thought maybe they did a great coaching job and overachieved last year, George, personally. Give them credit. I thought they did a really good job. This Spencer Rattler thing now, that has changed the mindset of everybody, and everybody all of a sudden is saying South Carolina is going to be really good. I don't think they were there yet personnel-wise last year, and I can't see how they make that quick a jump. So I personally would bet that's too many points. But South Carolina's got a lot of pressure on them because of just the transfer quarterback coming in.
This last one is the Sunday night of Labor Day weekend. Neutral site, my you-know-what.
Yeah,
LSU in New Orleans.
Yeah. Woo. This is one I had marked too, George. I think Florida State can beat LSU. I think they can win. I'm not saying they will, but I think they're capable of beating LSU even in New Orleans. I'm hearing good things out of Tallahassee right now, that they really are getting better. I know the recruiting's been better, but the team is getting better from what I'm hearing. And that's the third one I marked as a possibility. That's going to be a really good game. Out of all the games, that's probably the best one to watch of the bunch.
Okay, hold on. Let's flip that thing back up there for just a second. Watson, of that list, what SEC team do you think is the most likely to lose?
I'm going to say I'm going to say it's either Arkansas or LSU, and I think LSU has the best shot of losing of the two.
Okay. Good look at week number 1. Some really interesting matchups. Billy, let's put that phone number up there again real quickly. Hello, Brian. We'll be with you here in about 30 seconds. There's our phone number at 588-2998 if you want to call us, or if you want to text a question. Billy, how do you do that?
George, just go to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching the George Plaster Show. Look for a search bar and just type in those questions. So we'll have them ready to go.
Okay, Brian Stewart's on the line with us. Brian, did you watch last night?
Let me preface this by last night was my last commission meeting for Sumner County, and we didn't get out of there until almost 11 o'clock last night.
Oh, gosh.
That being said, whenever I got in the truck, the first thing I checked was the score on the Braves game, and needless to say, I was elated on many levels that we showed out last night. I'm hoping that we didn't spend all our runs in one time.
I know.
But hey, man, you got to give it to the young guys, man. Our team is young. They are hungry. And I think we can – this series right here, I think, is the series for the pennant.
This is a huge one tonight. Huge one tonight.
Absolutely.
Tell me what's going on at your place.
Hey, we've got we have some great listings out there right now, George. We've got a house in Tower Hill in Hendersonville for $750. Fantastic home that's most of the living area is on one level. Got a new listing coming up in Goullettsville. It's going to be in the $650 range on that one. These are in great school zones, great location to get to the interstate, to the bypass, get you into Nashville quick. We've got some good property management rentals coming up. And also, I have an auction that we're working on, actually try to be our first one that'll be coming up hopefully in the 1st of September, maybe the middle of September. All in all, just a lot of great things going on here at One Stop. I'm excited, giving our agents a lot of opportunities to get out there and get these listings to help their buyers. To give them the auction opportunities and to also get the property management rolling too. When we say one-stop realty, man, that's literally what we mean. It is one stop for all your needs in real estate. So I encourage everybody to give us a call. Our office number is 615-822-0750. You can reach me on my cell at 615-440-7011. We're at onestoprealtytn.com. You can look us up on Facebook and Instagram. I encourage everybody to give us a like and a follow. And as always, George, go Braves and tighten up.
Hold on. Don't go yet.
I'm not
You're going to get you're getting bonus coverage here.
Yay. All right.
Okay. An auction of a house. Is it exactly what we think where a guy gets up there and does all that? And is it the same kind of deal?
Yes, there is some of that. Some of that does go on.
I'm amazed.
Yeah, Barry Huber is my auctioneer that we had got him certified. He's ready to go. And what it does is it gives an opportunity for a seller, if they're not getting activity on the home, or even if before they even list the house on the regular market, it just gives them an opportunity to get the house in front of people that they may or may not have reached before, and to be able to get a quick sale. There's options in the auction game as well, as far as absolute or having a reserve on a property. Now that's something that I would love to discuss with people if they want to call me and talk about it. But auction just gives you another option in selling a home, selling a property. And literally you can auction anything out there. We do the estate sales. We can do it all. So George, it's just a fantastic opportunity for somebody that wants something different to sell their home or property with.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Hey, you're welcome, George. Watson, keep them straight up there. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Go Braves tonight.
Go Braves tonight. Big time.
Thanks,
Brian. Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay, we'll go to the break. We'll, who knows, take a phone call, get a text question. I've got a couple of things on my mind as well. Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin.
We are back. Final segment before we get to the Plaster bet of the day. Let's start with a phone call. Tony in Nolensville, welcome into Main Street Media Television. Mr. Derek.
I like that.
Wow. What a waste of Mr. Good. I love that. I know. Well, you know, Tony, I shake my head because one of the most untruthful interviews that I was ever a part of was when Pac-Man Jones got drafted by the Titans, and we were hearing some awful things. And we went up to West Virginia a couple of days later and had Rich Rodriguez on the show, and he acted like Pac-Man was Mother Teresa. I think that's absolutely right. We may have lost Watson. Hold on a second. Watson, hold on a second. Let me try this. Watson, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can't hear Tony.
Okay, got you. He was asking about Rich Rod going to Jacksonville State. Watson, here's the thing that's crazy. He turned down Alabama once. Remember?
Yeah, I do. He was hot. It's, as they've always said in my business, when you're hot, you better roll, and you better pick the right one when you roll.
You got that
because
right.
you can go cold real quick like. But he's trying to come back again, and he was the offensive coordinator, if you remember, at Louisiana Monroe when he took the Jacksonville State job after getting fired at Arizona. It's going to be interesting to see what he does there. I know he let a lot of players go and is kind of just started from scratch and brought in a bunch of transfers as they get ready, as they go Division I. And they left the OVC, as you know, and they're moving on up,
so to speak.
speak.
We lose Tony?
Yeah, we lost Tony, George.
Okay. Well, I hate that.
I think he was going to fire something at me, so I dropped him off.
No, you did not do that. If you did that, we'll drop you off.
George, we do have a question, though, coming from Jeff in Brentwood.
Okay.
He's asking about the Titans this week, and, he was mentioning how Terry McCormick said earlier that this is more meaningful. This kind of joint practice is almost more meaningful than a preseason game. He says, why is that? Why is that the case, that a joint practice could be more meaningful than a preseason game?
Watson, lay it on us.
Well, you just get to create what you want in practice, and you put your best players against your best. You create the situation. It's not a game. It's not a scrimmage. It's situation football. And you get to do what you want. So, like Terry said, if you want to practice 3rd and 8 10 times in a row, you call 3rd and 8 10 times in a row, and let's see who ends up winning the most of those 10 times. And you get a lot of one-on-ones in practice. You don't do near as much team as you think you do. There's a lot of this tackle going against their best defensive end in a pass rush drill, or their best corner trying to cover our best wide receiver one-on-one in a drill. A lot more of that kind of stuff, George, instead of just team ball.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring Tony back real quickly. I think he's on the line, and what he wants to do, hopefully, Billy, is make a fool out of you. Tony, give Billy your question. Yes. Yes, give us the question. Oh, yeah, give us the question.
Shocker.
Oh, I know it. I know it. You're darn right I know it.
44 years ago? Do I get any other context there?
The number 44 is very important to the answer.
Hank Aaron. No.
Hank Aaron what?
I'm going to guess Hank Aaron's home run to break the record.
You want me to help him, Tony? Yeah, I'm glad you did too. So Pete Rose had, in my lifetime, the longest hitting streak in my lifetime. Remember, I wasn't around for Joe DiMaggio. Rose's streak got to 44, and Gene Garber, the side-wheeling reliever from the Atlanta Braves, was the one who stopped him. Garber's big pitch was a changeup, which he threw on strike 3, and it infuriated Rose, who struck out, and that was the end of the streak.
That was the end of it.
That was it.
So I'm guessing Pete Rose was number 44 or Garber?
Rose was 14.
Rose was 14.
44. It was 44 years ago.
Was Rose's streak number.
Gotcha.
He got it to 44. I'm going to read this last thing before we go to the break. Straight off my phone. NBC, like other networks trying to grow paid streaming subscriptions, said today that the UNLV at Notre Dame football game at 2:30 Eastern Time, October the 22nd, will be exclusive to its paid Peacock service. The other 6 Notre Dame football home games will air on NBC and be simulcast on Peacock. NBC streamed last season's Toledo Notre Dame game exclusively on Peacock. Well, I got news for NBC. I wouldn't pay to watch UNLV play if you threw in a luxury suite. Who is going to buy UNLV at Notre Dame?
The running Rebels.
I mean, what's the price? 99 cents? That's ugly on my end, isn't it?
That's ugly.
Watson, guess what's coming?
I know what's coming. Man, did you mess it up last night?
Oh, lighten up.
You know what else is ugly?
How do you not take the Braves last night? How do you not take
you know what?
I mean,
it's real easy.
You did it. I said, huh? You don't take the Braves when they got to win this game.
It is real easy for you to sit back there and do that.
Billy, what did I say as soon as he said Astros? I said, why in the world are you not taking the Braves?
You called it. You called it.
I'm not taking this abuse. Plaster bet of the day is coming up next, and I don't care what Watson thinks. This is Main Street Media Television.
Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
It is simply time. Time for what, Billy?
George, it is time for Bet of the Day. Of course, always sponsored by the great folks at Bart Durham Injury Law. And I can never find Bart Durham, George. There it is. There it is. Okay, Bart Durham Injury Law. Since 1975, they have aggressively protected the rights of a broad range of victims of car accidents and personal injury in both Tennessee and Kentucky. If you, too, have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, or at your workplace, you should let the attorneys do the work fighting for the full compensation that you need. Learn more about Bart Durham Injury Law by logging on to bartdurham.com. And George, thought last night would be the night you didn't bet on the Braves. You decided to go with the Houston Astros and fell to below 500.
Their bullpen sucks.
Frauds.
It was a fraud last night. They gave up 4 in the 8th. Had a 2-0 lead all night long.
Fraudulent effort. You hear that, Watson?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Frauds.
So, Watson, guess where we're going tonight?
The big reveal.
Let's see.
George is going to try to right his wrong and
Oh,
go with the
yeah,
Atlanta
baby.
Braves.
Watson, tonight we have used 2 logos to emphasize that this is, I know this is a little crazy. This is the game of the year for the Braves at this point, because the next 2 nights they get Scherzer and they get Jacob deGrom. They have to win tonight. Charlie Morton will get it done against Taijuan Walker, and they will go up 2-0. Now, how the hell they get a 3rd win, I have no idea. I'll worry about that tomorrow. But, Watson, the Braves get it done tonight. Book it.
Huh. Yeah, jump back on the bandwagon. Yeah, they win 13-1. The Mets got to pitch infielders in the last 3 or 4 innings of the game, and now all of a sudden the Braves are back on your sheets.
It's
I mean,
so
how do you
easy.
not take them last night? I mean,
It is so easy for you to sit back and second
I
guess.
said it before the game. How do you not take the Braves? If you're such a big Braves fan, how in the world do you not take them last night? How do you
Let's
not take
turn
them?
his mic off. This show needs to end.
Watson, you've got a point. You've got a point.
There's nothing he can say. That's why he wants to end the show.
You're darn right it is. Good show tomorrow as we shift gears very quickly. Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee at 4:20, and then Dick Gabriel, who covers University of Kentucky football. He will join us at 5. Watson, do the tomahawk chop, baby. It's going to happen. Billy, go Braves.
George, go Braves.
See all of you tomorrow on Main Street Media Television.